Because it's a way of life.
Well, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what are they preventing? Like, if a 19 or 20-year-old walks into a gun shop, what can happen? They can't purchase a gun. They can't even get their hands on a gun because they're all secured and behind the counter or whatever.
Or ammo.
It just doesn't make any sense. So it's purely just a.
Hey, the fight for the Second Amendment is also happening in Orange County and Inland Empire. Orange County gun owners and Inland Empire gun owners leads the fight on the city and county levels to defend and protect your self-defense rights. How do they do it? They do it by fundraising and getting local pro-gun candidates elected. You need to become a member today. Go to iegunowners.com/join, or if you're in Orange County, that's ocgunowners.com/join. And join the growing number of responsible gun owners stepping up to defend our Second Amendment rights. That's iegunowners.com or ocgunowners.com.
You still sound tinny. Still sound really tinny.
I sound fine.
If you're listening, I don't know. We've been talking about doing just a podcast and leaving the radio.
No.
I'm thinking about it.
Why?
Because nothing ever works here. I can't even get a key to get in the building, and everything's always broken, and they're always complaining. They're always whining about stuff that we do. I just don't know if it's worth the money we pay anymore.
Shouldn't we have this conversation off air?
I don't know. Maybe we should. I just don't know if they're bringing a value. If you're listening right now, let us know. Email us, send us a message. If we just did a podcast rather than had it on 1170 a.m., would you still listen? I'll bet you would. I'll bet you we're going to get a lot of people that say, yeah, we don't care if they're on 1170 a.m. Anyway, all right, winners, prizes, and events. Subscribe and win. Subscribe to your email list and win some swag. This week's winner, Teresa Vinciguerra. I hope I got that. I know I messed that up. Teresa, it's Vinciguerra. Vinciguerra.
Ask Alicia. She can say it.
What do you say, Alicia? How would you pronounce that?
No. I'm the Google queen. I don't pronounce anything well.
Okay.
No.
Well, Teresa, you won. Email prizes@gunownersradio.com to claim your T-shirt or your hat. Free training for members. Enter to win. Free intro to firearms class from Stronghold Dynamic. All you got to do is sign up at basically just go to gunownersradio.com. That's gunownersradio.com/training, the number 4 members. Training for members. So gunownersradio.com/training for members. And sign up there. We're going to announce the winner on August 27th, and you might get your own class. How about that? I think that's awesome. And then don't forget, we talked about Gun Prom. Gunprom.com to get your tickets. It is September 16th. It's here in Mission Valley in San Diego at the Town and Country. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff. We're going to have a very cool live auction. We're going to have tons of cool things to bid on for the live auction. Trips, training, even a Gun Owners Radio takeover. We're going to have guns you could win. We're going to have a silent auction with cool movie and sports memorabilia and all kinds of really cool stuff. But even if you don't want to participate in any of that, you're going to get to meet John Petrolino, the Penn Patriot. You're going to get to meet John Correa from ASP and all kinds of really cool people. Carl DeMille will be there if you're a fan of Carl. He's a great friend of San Diego County Gun Owners, Orange County Gun Owners, and Inland Empire Gun Owners. Let's see who else is going to be there. Joel Anderson, Senator Brian Jones, Mayor Dane White. Man, I'm so. Do you know who I'm talking about? Dane White up in Escondido. Mm-hmm. So proud of that guy. Mm-hmm. He's actually, we're going to have him say a few words. He's somebody who. He actually was a member of San Diego County Gun Owners and ran, and we were one of the few organizations that supported him, actively supported him. I mean, he got a bunch of really great endorsements. I don't want to take away from what they did, but man, we're going to have him talk about just exactly what he saw out in the streets when he was walking around saying, "Hey, I'm running for mayor of Escondido." And Escondido is not a small town. That's anywhere else in the world. If you weren't sitting next to L.A. and San Diego, Escondido would be a fairly major city. And for him to pull that off and be such a friend and basically an organic friend of San Diego County Gun Owners, so proud of him. So you'll be able to meet all these elected folks, all these prizes. It's a good time. It's $99. That's all it is. It's $99. So go to gunprom.com. Help us out. I know you're going to go. Bring a date. So go today, right now. Go to gunprom.com and buy a couple tickets for us. So anyway, so Stephanie, let's do a little intro to your intro here. So talked about now you are first off, tell us what you were doing down in Imperial County or down in Imperial Beach a few years ago. You started off as an FFL down there, right?
So in 2014, we opened up Imperial Beach Guns.
Yep.
We were an FFL, worked out of our garage.
Mm-hmm.
Transfers, sales, all of it. Everything was by appointment only. COVID hit 2020. By midsummer, we just couldn't get anything. Customers were having a hard time finding anything California compliant on Gunbroker or anywhere on the web. So my husband's active duty military.
Mm-hmm.
We decided, well, he's up for orders, so let's go ahead and move and see what happens.
Yep.
We hadn't spent a whole lot of time together. He'd been deployed off and on for 10 years, so it was kind of nice being all together for a while.
So you guys you left California for a short bit.
We did. We left California, went to Colorado.
Now, how did you? What made you decide to have an FFL in your home there? How did that even happen? How did you get into that line of business?
Back in 2012, before my husband was getting ready for deployment, 2 to 3 weeks before that, somebody tried to break into our home.
Oh, geez.
The next day, we were down in Big Five. He had said, okay, pick out a shotgun, any shotgun. Okay, picked one out. Went to the range, made sure I knew how to use it. I actually ended up taking a class while he was gone. It was great. I enjoyed it. Shotguns are controlled chaos. But after he got back, we started going to different gun stores looking for other firearms, whether it was a shotgun for him, a handgun for me, just so I could expand my knowledge and my training. They would hand anything I asked for to him. Oh, that did not go over too well. Yeah. So I decided I did not want another woman to go through that.
Good for you.
Hence, Imperial Beach Guns came about. It
Nice.
was slow starting.
Yeah.
But soon we had, within about 2 years, we had more and more women coming. We had, of course, a lot of guys would show up and they'd have things transferred through us or they buy things from us, but they bring their girlfriends, they bring their wives, they bring their sisters, their daughters.
Was there anything in particular that you specialized in, or just, hey, if you need a firearm, we're here to educate and service you?
If you need a firearm, we're here to educate. Come on in, ask questions. You don't even have to buy anything. Just come in and ask a question. If you want some training on how to handle a firearm, come on
2
in.
minutes.
We'll go over it.
Yeah, that's great. Now, did anything happen with the person that attempted to break in? Did you guys file a police report? Did they get caught? Anything happen with that?
Turned out it was a couple of kids looking for a party at 2:30 in the morning. They were just at the wrong house.
Oh, geez.
But, when you're pounding on a window,
yeah,
that's kind of the wrong thing.
that's pretty scary.
So just wanted to make sure everything was covered with that.
Well, Imperial Beach is such a nice little town. I had an opportunity about a year ago to spend some time in Imperial Beach, and it's so beautiful down there. It really is. I think it's kind of a little best kept secret in San Diego. And I know there have been a lot of improvements, a lot of changes and upgrades, especially to the oceanfront area.
We've been in Imperial Beach now for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
We have seen it go from Hells Angels and some of the other
1 minute.
motorcycle groups down there to what it is now. We've got 2 brand new hotels. It's beautiful.
Right.
We've got the Beach Club. We have a brigantine,
Yeah.
which just amazes me still.
It reminds me, I grew up in Panama City Beach, Florida. It reminds me of Panama City Beach circa like 1983.
Okay.
Before MTV moved in and it turned into this big party town. Imperial Beach reminds me. That's right. It's got that Navy influence. It's right on the on the water, right on the ocean. I love it. I think it's really beautiful. I think a lot of people should spend a lot more time down there.
Hey, is there a better tool that empowers a woman to defend against an attacker that's 100 pounds bigger?
Nope.
That's why it's so important for women to learn how to defend themselves with the most effective self-defense tool ever invented. For women led by women, the Not Me program is designed to help with training, program, or purchasing a gun and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. To sign up, go to notmesd.org. All right.
All right, we're talking to Stephanie from The Outdoor Woman. And Stephanie, we were talking about how you lived in Imperial Beach for 25 years, which is awesome. I used to watch sunsets down there a lot, right by the pier.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're on the pier or if you're over at the end of Palm. They've got this great statue of a surfer.
Yeah.
It's beautiful from there, too.
Yeah, he was he was a lifeguard, wasn't he?
He was. And if you go up Palm, too, they also have these designs. It's supposed to be surfboards taken over by Ivy, but it's all the different styles of surfboards from over the years. I think they started back in 52, which is when the city was established, or 56.
Oh, wow. Well, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful little town. I really do think more people should go down there and have a meal and watch the sunset because it really is beautiful. And I had no idea. You said it was kind of rough 25 years ago, huh? I had no idea.
It really was. My husband was down there before I was, and when I came down, I would not walk anywhere without him. I didn't feel safe.
It's not like that at all
No.
anymore. It's not even
Now-
close to that.
Not at all. Now, middle of the night, I can even go out and I'm fine.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's really
So-
peaceful.
It
frankly.
is. It's quiet. From our house, we can even hear the waves a mile in from the
Oh,
beach.
nice.
So,
Okay, so you were an FFL. You thought someone was trying to break in your home. Most people just call the cops, but you went and bought a gun and became an FFL, which I think is the perfect reaction to that. And decided, hey, you know what? I really want to focus on women. I want to make sure women have a place to come and are comfortable. So so then you came back from Colorado and said, all right, well let's do this again. Let's fire this shop back up. And what happened?
so while we were in Colorado, we were living on 35 acres. We got to shoot on our property, and we actually had to take care of the property. So there was a lot more that went into it. I'd have to go to like the tractor supply store and try to find items that would work for me, but that were always made for a man. And so that's kind of where Outdoor Woman came about. And I figured, okay, so we'll expand the store. No more Imperial Beach guns, because we're not going to focus on guns. That's such a hot topic. That will be a part of our store. But we're going to focus on women and outdoors. So came back, figured, okay, we'll just do what we did before. They were trying to get us into a retail front before. They wanted us out of the house as far as the store went.
Who they being?
They being the city.
Okay.
And
Which, by the way, let's just kind of go piece by piece here too. There are a fair amount of there are a lot of places that have pretty stiff regulations for at-home FFLs. That's not as easy as it sounds, right?
no, it's not. I
So-
mean, you still have to abide by all the same rules and laws that a regular gun store does. You have to have the security and everything else, but it's at your home.
Right.
So it's,
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that. I guess what I'm saying is, being an at-home FFL is tricky. Not just in Cal. That's not really necessarily a California thing. It's tricky in most states. Is that accurate? Or is that not accurate?
I don't know about many other states, but for us, I mean, it's where you live.
Yeah.
So you're exposing yourself and your home to all these other people, all these other strangers, all these
Right.
people that, they hate guns, so they know where you live. They can come in. It's an exposure that not everybody wants.
Well, yeah, but I guess what I'm getting to though is that that's part of it. But it's if you're involved in selling something, you don't necessarily want to do it in your in your home in a cul-de-sac, and your neighbors are complaining because your customers are parking next to where they like to park, and you know what I mean. It makes perfect sense that, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this from my home anymore. I want to have some kind of storefront.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. But that's not necessarily a California thing. It's not like California
Oh no, it's
forced you out of your home
No.
and into a shop.
No, but we were having so much traffic, and it wasn't. Our neighbors weren't complaining, which our neighbors are wonderful people.
Awesome.
They weren't complaining, but we were so busy. Our store opened at 7 a.m., and there were times I was in there from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Wow.
because that's how busy we were.
That's a good problem to have.
It is. It is.
So you decided, okay, we're gonna get a commercial. We're gonna get a storefront in Imperial Beach. And what do you do? How do you even start? Did you already have a place in mind, or how do you even find a place like that?
So we went ahead and we started looking, found a couple of possibilities. And before I even wanted to apply for a lease, I wanted to go into the city and make sure the city was good with that. Well, they weren't this time.
Talk a little bit about that. How do you know they weren't? Was it a big shock, or was it more of a hold on, what we don't really know, or like what was, you know what I mean? How did they behave?
So they were fine giving me my FFL for the house again. That wasn't an issue. But moving into a retail front, they weren't. They wanted to push us through going in front of the city council and having to do this whole presentation, and because there was nothing on the books or in the penal code for firearms for a firearm store, and I guess it had never come up before. There's been firearm stores in Imperial Beach before, but it wasn't something that was ever addressed and I guess put down in writing.
Sometimes, in these zoning laws, they have these general terms,
Exactly.
and if they get squirrely and nervous, then all of a sudden, well, gee, it doesn't specifically say, firearms. They start making up their own little definitions.
And that's exactly what they did. Well, it doesn't say firearms, so we can't really do anything. Well, we need some clarification. And it's going to have to go in front of city council. Okay, so how long is this going to take? Fortunately, they were able to push it forward because we've worked with the city before over the years, and they did a good job. I was surprised.
What, the people in licensing? Is that who you're talking about?
The people in licensing,
or permitting?
Yeah. And yes.
Yeah,
so
they hey, how you been? I remember you. Yeah, we did this before. They were pretty cool about everything.
Actually, they weren't. That's a whole new staff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But Tyler, the city manager, he was the one in licensing when we first started our Imperial Beach guns. And so we worked with him before. I was able to go to him, and he worked with the licensing department. We got everything moved up to city council, taken care of. And we had that, I think it was July 28th meeting, where unfortunately we did have to do a moratorium for 45 days while they put together some rules and regulations.
Which was probably, I felt like that was a little, describing it as a moratorium was a little dramatic.
I agree. They should have just said, we're going to put it on a hold.
Yeah.
We need to do this.
Yeah.
The word moratorium just sounds so ominous.
It does. Well, it sounded like they actually made the decision that they said we're going to vote on having a moratorium, rather than what actually happened was they said, hey, you know what, we're going to work with you, but we just want a little time to put together the, to line up all our ducks. It was really I don't know. Wouldn't you say that's
if they would have said it that way? I mean, just that word moratorium.
Yeah.
That just brings out a lot of.
And I don't know who said that first, but it showed up in the Union Tribune. It hit the news, and then it was like a thing. And I even talked to a couple. I turned down a couple of interviews. I was like, no. It's not a moratorium. Here's what happened. And they're like, oh, all right, okay, great. And then just kind of, left it alone.
But because the word moratorium was in the city council write-up, that's how.
Was that where they got it from?
That's how it kept getting out.
I see.
So I mean, even I did a couple of interviews, but I had quite a few requests. There's no reason.
I
So
agree.
not until August.
Did any of the city council members reach out and talk to you individually? Is that something that happened? Did any of those city council members, say, hey, explain this to me or help me understand or anything like that?
Well, Carol Seabury has always she's come to the shop before. She's wonderful as far as firearms go. We have kind of a group of girls there in IB. We all get together every now and then. And Carol was one of them. But because she's on city council and they are prohibited from discussing things like this, that wasn't something that was ever brought up.
Okay.
She has to talk to staff about it.
Really?
Yep. She had wanted to, and we had made a plan to, but it never actually happened because it's something that would have nullified her vote. because I wanted to talk to her and to Mitch and to Jack. So she had made an invitation out to a
I wasn't
couple
aware of that. I wonder what the background there is.
I don't know, and I don't quite understand it. I would think that if they had more understanding of the firearms laws for the state of California and federal,
they would have made a better
Mm-hmm.
There are a few. I wonder
2
if
minutes.
it's some kind of something buried in the Brown Act. I really am against a lot of this. That feels very First Amendment violating. It feels like a city council member should be able to come up and talk to you and just say, hey, let's for my own information here, let's talk.
So staff is actually who put together the rules and regulations for the city council and city attorney to review.
And
They did call.
Yeah.
We did go over things. I met with them several times. So they were very interactive with me, which was appreciated. So they were trying to understand what it is that is required of us by the state and by federal, and then take it from there as far as the city is concerned. So they were very interactive with me.
And there was an initial draft. Yeah, we're going to talk about that initial draft when we get back from a break, and then you responded to the official draft, and then some good things happened. I felt so. We'll talk about that, but it really truly was, a victory. I think that it's good in the fact that it was a victory, but it's a victory that didn't even need to happen. Which is kind of the unfortunate part. But anyway, we'll talk more about it when we get back.
A lot of companies waste an awful lot of money on marketing when it comes to websites. The design is excellent, the photos are beautiful, the website looks great, but it's just not getting customers. Why? Because you don't have the words that make people buy. But now you can fix that with Sage Tree. Sage Tree can help you find the words that make it easy for your customers to understand what you do and how to buy from you. Stop wasting money today and schedule a call. Getting started is easy. Visit sagetree.com and click on the Schedule an Appointment button. That's sagetree.com and click on the Schedule a Call button now.
All right, we're talking to Stephanie from Outdoor Woman. And okay, so we were talking about you opening up your shop, Outdoor Woman, in Imperial Beach.
Okay.
And there was even a point where you were starting to consider going outside of Imperial Beach, huh?
There was. We weren't sure how things were going to go. I mean, the city staff was great. They were calling. They were getting information. But with the climate today, with firearms, I wasn't sure what was going to happen because I was so surprised that they voted this hold on licensing for firearm stores. So that was just a big surprise.
How deep did you go? Did you have other places in mind? I mean, how deep did you go into the idea of not opening it up at Imperial Beach?
I had scouted several areas and actually taken a look at how much rent was, square footage, different places. So I was ready just in case.
Wow. And now, did you already have a place in Imperial Beach in mind?
We did, and we do. We're still waiting to see if they're willing to lease to Outdoor Woman because firearms are involved. So it's always a question when it comes to liability for the owners.
And that must be tough too. I mean, waiting this whole thing, trying to get, you got to get licensed. You got to talk to the feds. You got to talk to the state. You got to talk to the local, and then trying to, it takes months, and you got to tell some landowner or some landlord, I should say, hey, I need 3 or 4 months of doing nothing to get this all squared away. I mean, it's not an easy task.
It's not, and there's money that goes both ways. Sometimes, so the city, for their new permit that they're doing for firearm stores, they just want a letter from the owner or the property manager stating that, okay, if the city does give us our license, they are willing to let us sell firearms there. But we don't have to go into a lease with them. Once we have that permit from the city, if that place is already rented, well, then we know that
Go somewhere else.
we're good.
Sure.
We just have to find another location.
Okay, so the first draft. Do you want to talk about some of the issues with first draft, or you want to go into maybe one thing in particular that you can explain why that first draft just wasn't going to work? The
first draft was very reminiscent of There were several items in it that were very reminiscent of Nazi Germany. I'm sorry, that is the only comparison that we have with it.
But other than that,
But once they went in and there was about 11 items that I found that needed to be changed. Once they changed a wording or went in and took out a sentence, everything completely changed. And it was for us. It was on our behalf. It was to help us get in there. So it was great. I still don't agree with the fact that if firearms are 50% of our business or more, someone who is under the age of 21 can't walk in.
yeah,
That
it's ridiculous.
bothers me. It doesn't affect outdoor women because that's not our primary business. But I still don't agree with it. However, I am going to take the win for now, and that's a fight for another day.
So fight for another day. I agree. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what are they solving?
Agreed. I mean, you're
Nothing,
keeping young
know?
kids away from firearms, so you're telling them that this is taboo. You don't need to know about it. But yet, how many of us grew up where we would go to high school and, the guy with a truck, he's got a rifle and a shotgun in the back of his window, and principal comes out and says, "Hey, oh, I like that shotgun, Jimmy. Oh, I got this one over here. Come take a look at it." Because it's a way of life.
Well, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what are they preventing? Like, if a 19 or 20-year-old walks into a gun shop, what can happen? They can't purchase a gun. They can't even get their hands on a gun because they're all secured and behind the counter or whatever.
Or ammo.
It just doesn't make any sense. So it's purely just you guys are bad. You guys are just bad. You're bad for kids. So shame on you. You shouldn't allow kids. That's not right. I don't think that's it's not a good attitude. We're the good guys.
Exactly. And the more kids know about them from actually seeing them, and if their parents are there, handling them versus what they're going to find on video games.
Yeah, right.
I mean, so many of these kids that we see with these accidents, it's because of video games.
Yeah.
They think, "Oh yeah, I know how a gun works. I've played with it on my video game."
Well, the reality is, I don't even know how many. Let's just say that rule affected you. I don't know how many people under the age of. First off, if you're 18, 19, or 20, you're not a kid. Mm-hmm. Keeping an adult out of a gun shop is. I don't even think that's constitutional, let alone appropriate. But if you're under the age of 21, I don't know how many folks under the age of 21 are you going to come into a gun shop. Be honest with you, I just don't know if that alone. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I just don't know that's going to happen.
Exactly. I mean, the only thing I can think of is, we've got a soda machine. Kids are walking home from school. Hey, I want to go get a soda. Hold on.
Yeah. Well,
They're going to walk in and get a soda. Okay.
So tell us about. So you got some of those things solved. In general, there were some other rules like, hey, we want to see all the paperwork you got to submit to the feds, to make sure that it's in order. Okay, fine.
That's fine.
You got all the paperwork that you have to submit to the state. We want to make sure that's all in order. Okay, fine. That doesn't prevent you. That's something that you can attain. But the stuff there were some other things in there that would literally just prevent you from doing business. So they fixed it. That was awesome. And what was the vote? Unanimous?
It was unanimous.
So it was a unanimous vote. I believe the count is 4 Democrats and a Republican.
Correct.
And they approved it after working with it. I was really happy with. The reason I bring that up is there's this this misconception that all Democrats are bad always on all guns. All Republicans are good on always on guns. It's just not true. We're way beyond. Like, that's kindergarten.
We're way beyond those lines. We really are.
It's not how life really is. But what I was really impressed with was how our side handled everything, how you handled everything. Our side, meaning, gun owners in general, not just San Diego County gun owners, members or staff or anything like that, but everybody that showed up in support of you. How you guys, you and your husband, how you guys handled everything, how the city handled everything. I thought it was really, really well done.
I wish a lot more cities throughout the state of California would handle things this way. Outcomes would be much better instead of just laying down the law saying no or saying these are the rules and not having any negotiations between themselves and the business or the person that's trying to obtain whatever it is they're trying to obtain. That used to be the American way. I give some, you give some, and we meet in the middle, and we figure it out.
At least, And I think it was the night of the meeting where they put the moratorium on. I emailed all 5 of the city council members, and I didn't call them names. I didn't, you bunch of unconstitutional libtards and you're anti-draconian blah blah. I didn't do that. I said, hey, appreciate your consideration in advance. Here are the reasons we're concerned about putting a bunch of rules for gun owners on the city level, and basically said, hey, a lot of these rules are designed to be unattainable, basically be a roadblock because, we don't want a gun shop. So, and I gave them some examples, and I got some responses. A couple of questions were asked, and, acted as a resource, and they were very thankful. And, it sounds like you had a great experience working with the city. I don't even think you didn't have to get an attorney involved, to my knowledge.
We had one ready, but we didn't have to.
And, things went great. And I think that folks showing up at the meeting and talking about it and saying, hey, here are my thoughts, that helped tremendously. This thing's textbook, man. It was a really good example of the way things should go.
It was. And the fact that I guess the word moratorium actually got things out there and made people start talking about it and thinking about it. And what does it really mean to have a gun store out there? And how does Imperial Beach fit in with all of this?
Yeah.
Because Imperial Beach has been a Navy town since its inception, really. There's always been Navy bases there. So firearms are just kind of I don't want to say normal
Well,
thing.
firearms are Navy or not. Firearms are normal.
Oh, they are.
You know what I mean?
But
It's
a
the
constant.
anti-gunners are abnormal. That's an abnormal, in America. If you're against guns or you've had no experience with guns and you're an adult, that's abnormal.
So I guess from my point of view, sorry, I've raised Army, married Navy. We've guns have always been in my life.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that not everybody thinks about. So if you're raised in the city and you come to Imperial Beach, you might not think about firearms because, you were raised in the city. Well, we have all these military people around, so they have to learn how to shoot guns. And a lot of them take it further, and they get into it and they enjoy it.
But I mean, the average, funny, I was talking to my dad before the show, and he was, he had heard somebody talk about
2 minutes.
They were, it was like a warning. They were basically saying, they said, listen, we have to do something. Half the kids graduating high school are below average. Well, that's how that works. Of course, that's how averages work. I think we talk about first, really more talking about the median. But I was about to say the average person, the average adult in America, has some experience with firearms. It's just these government blocks that they put in California and Illinois and Hawaii and Massachusetts. That makes for an abnormal experience. But I am so proud of what you've accomplished. When are you guys looking to open?
We're hoping for November 1st.
November 1st, nice. Now we're gonna have a party, right?
Oh, we're absolutely having a
nice.
Party. We're gonna have a week-long party. Are you kidding?
That's the best kind of party.
1 minute.
And good. And okay, so November 1st, you don't have like an address or anything yet. We don't wait. Okay.
Once we have a lease established, then we'll put the address out there for everyone. Outdoorwoman.com is where you can find us. Now, when you type that in, it's going to take you to all these different places. Just make sure it's outdoorwoman.com.
Outdoorwoman.com. And here's another reason to sign up for San Diego County Gun Owners email blast is, every Thursday we send out an email talking about what's going on. As soon as we hear from Stephanie when the grand opening week happens, we're going to promote the heck out of that and make sure that everybody gets down there. Yeah, it's great. There are like no gun shops south of like the 8. I mean, it's just you. So
come on down.
There you go. Much needed. So fantastic. Well, congratulations, and hang out here.
Mike.
You're gonna ask Sam the Gunman his question to see if you can stump him, and I'm just so happy for you.
Thanks, Mike, for all your help.
You bet. And we're gonna see you at Gun Prom too, right?
Oh, absolutely. We'll be there.
The Outdoor Woman table is ready to go. Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio.
If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.